Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Women Making Herstory series. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network, and we have been having such a wonderful time interviewing 31 visionary women who are making herstory. And today, I got to tell you, I got a little bit of tingles going on and some warmth in my heart for the person that's with us today. Dr. Yvonne Oswald, who not only is she an extraordinary woman making herstory, I am blessed and grateful to count her as one of my dearest friends, a mentor, a colleague, and an amazing woman who also likes to have a lot of fun. So she's the whole package, and how lucky am I to have her, as well as all of you have her here today. Welcome, Dr. Yvonne.
Thank you, Nancy. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm grateful that we were able to carve out some time in your busy schedule, and we'll talk about that in a moment and all you're up to in making herstory. But let me let our listeners know a little bit about your background. So Yvonne Oswald, PhD, recognized global leader of human empowerment and award-winning best-selling author of Every Word Has Power, which is now in 11 languages.
Yeah.
She's at the leading edge of the new field of human behavioral technology. She's a renowned and respected international keynote speaker, communications trainer, master trainer of NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and master trainer of hypnosis. Her U.S. national awards include the most unique contribution to the field of clinical hypnosis, for her unique techniques in changing negative self-talk and DNA transformation, and the COVR Visionary Award nomination for Mind Magic, her pioneering process of clearing a negative motion in less than a minute. I've experienced it. So good. Her work with war vets, PTSD, and depression is outstanding. Dr. Yvonne's unparalleled 4-hour breakthrough blueprint is a remarkable innovation in the field of neurological medicine. She has an outstanding reputation for her exciting, innovative, fun, and interactive trainings, both in public and private sectors. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. It's wonderful being here. And you're amazing too. You're a visionary that I've never seen the likes before. You're amazing.
Thank you so much. And you know what I want to talk about today. So clearly, your expertise, your experience is far-reaching, and as I consider who's watching this series and who's joining us for this, right, one of the things I love about you is the ability that you show us all at how to cut through what might be getting in the way of that divine connection, that ability to tap into our own visionary nature.
Right.
So just let's talk about this for a little bit, in a broad scheme. How did you come upon this work and devise all these unique methods?
Well, it was interesting because my grandmother was a healer in Manchester, and I, of course, was brought up in the spiritualist church originally, and then I went to a Methodist church, and then I was christened in a Christian church, and then I married a Catholic, so I had a kind of broad background. And what happened was I was actually using my clairvoyant abilities from very, very early age, became a teacher. And then it was only when I realized I had a few little issues, I thought it was everybody else at first, but my childhood was quite abusive. My sister died when I was 13, and my father said he wished I'd died instead of her. And, it was pretty uncomfortable. And I didn't realize that everybody else didn't have a childhood like this. And it was only when I realized that everyone else did have some issues the same way I did, that I started realizing, you know what, I want to work on this, and I want to help others not have to go through what I went through. So I suddenly started coming up with ideas. I studied everything. Oh gosh, it was Gestalt therapy, talk therapy, you name it. When I came to Canada at 36, I did everything. And I came across hypnosis and neuro-linguistic programming, and I realized that was it. I had the magic formula. Once I started putting those together, it was quite spectacular how I'd suddenly come up with new ideas. And it's actually resulted in the 4-hour breakthrough blueprint, which is spectacular. It's non-situational, works for everything, and I'm over the moon. I'm going to be working with the Iraqi war vets. and with the First Nations people who were in residential schools who were abused. And that it really just led me on that path.
You are creating such healing in the world with these techniques and with your ability. And I'm grateful because I've actually been trained in this 4-hour breakthrough and have shared it with clients who've had breakthrough results.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Let's talk a little bit about one of the concepts in your wide array of talents.
I know, pick on anyone, right?
So let's zero in on something you refer to as the entrepreneur's triangle.
Yes. I realized very early on that, everybody kept saying, oh, if you help enough people, the money will come. And for 20 or 30 years, I kept thinking, well, when's the money going to come? I'm working every day, and it just felt like a job, which is the whole point of being an entrepreneur, is that you want to work for yourself. You don't want to work for someone else. And what was happening was I was just working 20-hour days and keeping on working, doing my PhD, doing all kinds of other things. And I finally sat down and thought, I need to work out what's important about being an entrepreneur. Number one, you want to get the word out there. You want to help people. That's really the top value. The second thing is, getting recognition, because when you get recognition, you can meet that many more people. And we tend to put the bottom at money. And I suddenly had a switch around a few years ago and thought, you know what, if I'm going to meet more people, the more money I have, the more I can get out there.
Right.
And when I started making money my focus, it was absolutely spectacular, the difference. When people would say, come and speak for us, I would say, what's your budget? And they'd say, we don't have a budget. And I'd say, well, what budget could you get? And then suddenly people were coming up with budgets. I was getting out there. I was getting famous. And the money came in, and so did the people. And the more money that came, the more suddenly, and the more fame that came, the more media exposure I had. Suddenly, I was reaching that much bigger an audience. And it's just absolutely fabulous the way it happened. So really, if we can just twiddle it a little bit, it doesn't mean you have to not help people. It means you have to focus on the money first, and the people will come. Mm-hmm. It's the other way around.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because I think in what I'm hearing from you, when you switch your focus to the money, it's not just the money, it's the value that you're bringing that gives you the money. So it's all connected. It's almost like a continuum of a circle.
Yes.
You need all three.
Yeah, you do. You do. Yeah. And it's all about setting your high values to higher purpose and what you're here to do. Mm-hmm. And what I often find is that when people come to me, I say, what do you want out of life? And they say, well, what I don't want is, we all know what we don't want, and people don't find it easy to focus on what they do want. So when I came up with the method of, if I gave you $1 million, what would you do with it? People buy stuff, cars, houses, vacations, give a bit away. And then I say, if you get $5 million, what will you do with it? And it's more cars, more houses, more vacations. And then if you up that to $1 billion, people's minds start really opening up, because when you take money out of the equation, there's only one thing left to do, and that's help people.
Yes.
So it's really interesting how it works up and down the ladder. Yeah. And when you find out what you want to spend your $1 billion on, you will find your life's purpose.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about, and one of the things that I so admire about the work that you do is the integration of true scientific techniques to shift perspective, to shift energy. I mean, you taught me one thing about chin up, and it would be valuable to share with our audience today.
Okay. So you can simply change where you're living in your brain. I mean, most people live in their limbic brain, which is the old family brain, which is directly connected with the amygdala, the fight or flight response, the anger fear response, so we can get there really easily. What I teach in all my classes and everything I do is to actually get into the prefrontal cortex, which is only about 200,000 years old. It's the neocortex, or the new rind, and that is directly connected with the nucleus accumbens, which is the reward center. So you can get there really easily, first of all, if you put your head down and find a negative emotion, because now you're in limbic when your head is down, sadness, frustration, or whatever. If you literally put your chin up, the expression keep your chin up means, change where your thoughts are in your brain. You've gone to your analytical brain now. Your chin is up. Become aware of that 180 degrees. Take a deep breath. So that releases the diaphragm, tells your unconscious mind the danger's over, thank you, we're good. And also get the tongue on the bottom of your mouth. That when we have the tongue on the top of our mouth, it tells the unconscious mind you're under stress, there's danger. And people habitually keep the tongue on the top of the mouth. If you can consistently make your tongue on the bottom of your mouth, you'll stay relaxed, you'll stay in that nice alpha place, and you'll feel a lot better on a daily basis.
Such value. I love it. Thank you for that. And I encourage all of you, chin up.
Chin up. Keep your chin up. It's an expression. There's a reason for it.
Yeah, it's physiological. It's physiological.
Exactly.
Let's talk a little bit now about the work that you've been doing with Iraqi war vets, the First Nations. I mean, you go in and help people who have experienced what I would think of as the worst of life's atrocities.
Yes, exactly. It came about quite easily. A wonderful man called Norman Yakalaya in the Northwest Territories contacted me about 20 years ago, and he then read my book, and he came and took my master's NLP and training, hypnosis training, and he invited me up to the Northwest Territories to do work with the people there. I worked with the teachers, I worked with the Cree chief and his staff, and worked with the teachers. 3 of the teachers came to take the training. They then took it back to the Northwest Territories. He's now chief of the Northwest Territories. Wow. So it was very interesting because I was helping him do speeches. Over the last 20 years, it's been me being on Skype with him, teaching him how to speak, how to be powerful. And he's now chief of the Northwest Territories. They invited me last week to the convention, which happened to be taking place in Niagara Falls, just 2 minutes away from me, of the First Nations convention. So there were 400 First Nations people there, one national chief who was amazing, Perry, he's a fabulous guy, and 4 regional chiefs. And they invited me to talk in Calgary with the Iraqi war vets. I've worked with the Iraqi war vets in Florida, and by total, I'm not going to say coincidence because I don't believe it's a coincidence, in San Diego, there's a whole group of Iraqi war vets who have actually invited me to go and teach there as a travel consultant. And the man there who's organizing it, Randall, is coming up to Calgary to meet us all. So it's all kind of coming together that we're making this amazing difference with PTSD, with the people in the residential schools who have been sexually abused. And for me, one 4-hour breakthrough will clear most of that. There's very little left after that, because basically the unconscious mind is saying danger, danger, danger. The second that you experience PTSD or experience something which is life-threatening, or that the unconscious mind believes to be life-threatening, it's not necessarily true. So when we just let the unconscious mind know, you're good to go, we're finished, it's quite happy to stand down. It's quite amazing how fast it stands down too.
I've witnessed it, I've experienced it, and one of the things that I'm so grateful for is you have now taken it to the next level in terms of you're training others, myself included, how to do this 4-hour breakthrough. So I want to put a word out there to anybody who's watching, who works with people and wants to have probably the most effective tool I've ever experienced, and I've seen a lot and experienced quite a bit. Study with Dr. Yvonne. She will give you exactly what you need to immediately get out there and be helping people at a whole nother level. So you'll see below there's a link with a free gift. I'll have her talk about that in a moment, but that also will take you to Dr. Yvonne's main website. Oh, the time flies. I know we could go on for so long, and I want to keep these short so that people just enjoy and then want to find out more about you. So talking about a woman in history who made an impact on you.
Right. Well, it actually took me a long time to realize who actually influenced me the most. And when I think back, it was actually my grandmother. She ran the Spiritualist Church in Manchester in the 1950s, and she was a chief healer there. I learned healing from a very young age. And, you know, the hands-on healing that they call Reiki, I didn't realize that was what it was called when I was doing it when I was young. And she ran a theatrical boarding house. She had 6 kids. One of them died. She was amazing. And she spent her whole life helping people and literally making herself be of service to people. What happened, though, and what I noticed with a lot of the healers there, is that they ended up really looking old really young. They would just exhaust themselves. And one of the biggest lessons I took from that was not only to carry on her work, but also to look after myself and make sure that I took time back for myself, did the right nutrition, did exercise, so that so that you can do it as long as possible, obviously, and affect as many people as possible and help as many people as possible. Beautiful. So yeah, she's someone I admire. She's someone I'm still kind of in touch with. I send messages out and everything, and which as well.
Awesome. You light up when you talk about her. That's beautiful.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, awesome. All right, great. Well, thank you for being with us. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Let's let our viewers know, what is this gift? And again, just click on the link below here. What is this gift that you have for everybody?
So what's interesting, I came up with the idea of 3 wishes. And the 3 wishes, you go and meet an angel and actually have 3 wishes and throw them in a fountain. And with those wishes, it's actually quite interesting, because I have never actually got in the CD to the point where I actually remember what the wishes are. Because it takes, the whole CD is 20 minutes, it's hypnosis, and 20 minutes hypnosis equal to 4 hours sleep. So if you want a good rest, you just listen to a hypnosis CD rather than sleep. And the 3 wishes actually takes you up to the highest level, and you unconsciously attract in your goals, your highest good, rather than what you want. It's what you need comes in, and it changes in a huge different way since I've started listening to my own CD, MP3 rather. I've got opportunities that I've never had before. It's amazing.
I'm going to listen today.
Yeah, it's good.
So thank you. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Well, my friends, as you can see, we are blessed in this world to be surrounded by women making herstory. And I want you to know that includes you. So
I agree.
Everything we do, every person we touch and we impact makes a difference in the life of another. So thank you to everyone who's watching this for making herstory. Be sure to grab the gift below from Dr. Yvonne. And then if you haven't already done so, click that other little orange button that says join the movement. We need you. We need your voice.
We do.
We get out there, put the profile picture on that says I'm making herstory. This is our time, my friends. This is your time. Yeah. So thank you for being with us. Thank you, Dr. Yvonne. Enjoy the continued transformation and healing you bring to the world. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Nancy, and you. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. All right, bye now. Bye, everybody.
Bye.